Why is that not translucent? Is oh, that needs to reload. Hello everybody. I'm trying to figure out refresh cache of current page. There we go. Got it. Sweet. Welcome, welcome everybody. Glad to have you all. Whenever you get here, we'll let a viewer show up, you know. Just waiting for some viewers, and we'll start talking about education a little bit. Well, high level stuff. Just waiting for someone to show up. All right, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Go ahead, throw something in the chat, say hello. I'll get started right now. Today, I'm just talking a little bit about education, kind of at a high level in the United States specifically. Keep our focus a little bit narrow. Yeah. So education in the United States right now is feels very aimless. We don't really know what we're trying to do with education, like what we're actually trying to accomplish or achieve. Like, just think about it for a moment. Like, what's the purpose of education in the United States? Like, college prep, getting ready for the real world, getting a job. Like, it doesn't really feel like, even if whatever answer you come up with, it probably isn't even achieving that. Maybe indoctrinating people into the military-industrial complex, potentially, yeah, could do that. But what I'm thinking about is, okay, then if we don't really know why, like why we have education, like what we're actually trying to achieve or accomplish with it, let's come up with something. And so I thought about this a lot. And welcome to the stream, by the way. Whoever just joined, go ahead and throw something in the chat. We're just talking about education today. But my thoughts about what education should be trying to do in the United States. I thought about this a lot, and what actually led me to the mission statement of my campaign, which is to empower every individual to become the best version of themselves. And so I think, it doesn't have to be like that sentence, but so long as it's something along the lines of like supporting and empowering people to go through the journey in life of becoming a contributing member of their community, and a better person overall, and however they see it. Then what we can do is we can gamify it, and we can funnel the resources and the technology into it to make education something that like everybody like wants to do for their entire life, right? This concept of like K through 12 plus like college is like, education doesn't end at 18 or 22 or 25. education is a lifelong journey, and we should be treating it that way. And so we need to expand our scope in the way that we think about education to include all of this, especially coming into the information age, where we are now gaining a lot of automation and AI and robots and machines that can perform a lot of the laborious tasks that we don't need to do anymore. And so as we move away from this kind of like labor-based economy and move toward a society where people have the ability to choose what they want to do with their time, giving giving people the skills, whether it's interpersonal skills or technical skills, or whatever variety or range it may be, seems like a much more effective way in enabling and empowering people in life in general. And that's really, again, what I think education should be about: empowering every individual to become the best version of themselves. And so I really think there's a lot that needs to happen to get us from here to there, but there are all sorts of cool programs and pilots going on all over the country and all over the world, challenging the way that we used to perform education, and thinking about like, okay, well, this kind of like grouping of ages doesn't make as much sense, or at least should be broader. It shouldn't be so tightly controlled of like everybody's within 1 year of each other. It should be more based on what the students want to do, what kids want to do growing up, and more open curriculum, more allowing students to do what they need to do. Of course, smaller class sizes, but also, again, looking at like the adult version of things, of like leveraging technology to connect communities of people together. So like if you are if you're an adult and you want to get better at cooking, but you're not trying to do all the crazy stuff that they do on like Food Network or whatever, you just want to like learn regular everyday cooking. You can connect with other adults in your community, and you can put together your own little classes or meet at some like central kitchen or something and go over just like regular everyday cooking. Maybe have an instructor of some kind, which it's like it's, again, where it's about funneling the resources and the technology into it to allow these things to happen. That's just one example of many. Think about like a teenager who wants to get into material science, right? Connecting them with an actual material science expert, or metallurgist or whatever it may be, in the community, to help them gain more hands-on experience. And of course, all this will be enabled by much better enabled by universal basic income. I think the big kind of institutional education, whatever we keep around, so thinking about colleges and universities, that should just be free and paid for by the government. But kind of the smaller things like guitar lessons, like that will be paid, like private guitar lessons, that would be paid for through your UBI. That's kind of the way that the government would pay for it, is kind of through that mode. So the big stuff, you can have government programs for, but the small stuff, I think, it's the universal basic income that will enable and empower that, in a more simplified, streamlined way. There are a variety of ideas and concepts that go into this. And also recognizing, that while I keep saying funneling the technology into it, you can't teach kids strictly with screens. They need to look at each other's faces, and they need to actually interact with each other. One of the really, this pandemic has really sucked because I think the biggest damage this pandemic has caused for children, outside of course, losing their lives and their loved ones, which of course is incredibly devastating. But on the education front, I think the biggest detriment has actually just been that social interaction, which is just kind of like it's just kind of like it's just unlucky. Like it's not. I'm not taking the stance of like we should have just let kids stay in school. That's not what should have happened. We should have been paying people to stay home. Um, but excuse me. Um, we have but it's just a thing that happened. It seems like certainly by fall we should be in a much better position um, to allow kids to go back to school and start returning to the way things were, at least in terms of education. Not saying that I think it's the greatest, but I do think that at least having children in the same building as each other is better than having everyone locked up at home. Um, so I think that will be generally positive because that social aspect is incredibly important. Um, but yeah, just moving away from this kind of trivial pursuit version of quote unquote education, as well as like making people pay for education. Like, what is that nonsense? It's ridiculous. We should not be making people pay for education. That just is bonkers. If anything, we should be paying people to get educated. Um, but there are countries that do that, by the way. So yeah, that's what I think, because I think study is important and it adds to society, and this is why I want UBI is to start recognizing that type of important work. Like a PhD student, like they are working, like they are absolutely contributing. So yeah, I think we should be paying them definitely instead of making them pay. So yeah, everything about education is backwards. Of course, I can't go without addressing like Texas specifically. Of course, I'm vying for a federal seat, but maybe some of the first steps along the way would be dramatically increasing federal funding for public schools, with a specific focus on low income schools, like putting a disproportionate amount of federal funds into low income schools. It's the what is it, the choice school choice is just a stupid concept. The folks who need better schools are the folks who can't get to, who like are physically unable to get to better schools. Like they don't have the transportation, they don't have the means to make that happen, and so they're stuck with the low income schools. It just ignores the realities of like the existence of low income schools. It's not a solution to low income schools. So yeah, that's definitely where I'm sitting. Well, I've been rambling a lot. We've been going from 0 viewers to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 viewers, back down to 0 again. There are no comments, so I'm not gonna keep dragging this out. I don't think any more are gonna come along. But so I'm gonna cut it off there. I'm just gonna do that. We'll be back next week, Thursday at 1 p.m. My YouTube channel is starting to get a lot of content on it, which is really great. So you can just go to voteforsass.com. And you'll see the little YouTube in the bottom right, or just go to the Connect tab. If you're on mobile, it's just the little menu button, Connect. So check out the YouTube channel. Subscribe there. Give me a follow here on Twitch. All the goodies. Follow the Sassy Squad on Facebook and Sass Official on Twitter. But other than that, we will end it here.